Hey YouTube, just a video from Grant Macintosh 1 here. Thought I'd give you an updated tour of my room because I haven't done one in a long time and lots of stuff has changed. Well, actually, firstly outside this door, we'll see I have Wi-Fi. That's the first one. Which one is that? Cat? Oh, Hawks! Oh, Griffin! Look at this Griffin. Oh my goodness, are you trying to attack the camera? There's two of my three kittens. This one's a year old, this one's about a year and a month. Just over there, just about a year and a month. Toffee's somewhere else, she's brown, she's a girl. Griffin's a bit weird. It's quite cute. That is a Airport Extreme 5th generation, I think it is at least. We've got two Airport Extremes in this house. One's an 80211 AC one downstairs, and this one's the repeater, or acting as the repeater. It was our main one, but it's now this one up here. Nothing on my door anymore. We've had our whole house redone, painted and fixed. So all my stuff came off the door and I never put it back up. If I open the door here, I've got this desk here. It's repainted, but because of the Macs and computers I have, they've already done that. Got dents and everything all over it. That's cracking from the little aftershocks. Here's the first part of my computer, my iMac G4 15-inch 1GHz, Airport Extreme, Gig of RAM, 15-inch LCD. This cost me $30 from a school. I have, once again, these are really rare in New Zealand, and to find one for $30 is quite amazing. This one's in pretty good condition. It has a scratch on the screen there. The optical drive's stuck and the internal speaker doesn't work. But apart from that, it's pretty nice. This machine sort of sits here. It works fine, but it sits here just as a feature because it's a great looking machine. Everyone who comes to this house compliments me on the machine, asks where it's from, how old it is, what it is, you know. It's really cool. You can come in here as well. Lots of drawers containing lots of various computer parts. It's always fun. Over here's my main setup. We have my Philips powered subwoofer that I bought from a recycling shop for $30. Great subwoofer. My Kenwood, I forgot what they're called. I used to have LSN 551 speakers that match the stereo here, but they were quite tatty. So I went to the Eco Shop again. I always go there, it's quite fun. And got these beasts, which are much better looking. They're not all old and tatty. LSN 850L, okay, 3-way 3-speaker system. These are great speakers. I know speakers, well I think I do at least. And just pop the covers off. That is some cleaning fluid from trying to get this off, this sticker here. These are $15 for the pair. They both work fine. They're really tight, they have large magnets, and they sound fabulous. Currently they're hooked up to a stereo here. It's a Kenwood XD551, lowest end of the XD series. This cost $800 to $1,200 depending on the specs you got it with. This one was a $1,200 one. I got this from the Eco Shop for $10. Before that I had one that I got off a school, the same exact model, but it was really tatty. This one's much better. It has 100 watt times 2 channel, both these are 100 watt speakers, but it has the subwoofer hooked up to it as well, and two Yamaha surrounds with stands that I got for about $5 or $15 each from the Eco Shop. One of them's over there. Great sounding stereo. The camera's microphone sucks, but I'll just play some of the intro of Mighty Car Mods at sort of this volume. Probably didn't give you a very good idea, but the stereo is really, really nice sounding in real life. One of the best buys I've ever made, actually. Centerpiece on the desk is my AOC i27 F57H, I think it is, monitor. I was going to go for a 1440p monitor. This is just 1080p, which is still good. It's a 27-inch 1080p monitor. I didn't like it at first because of how big everything looked, because I was used to stuff like the Retina MacBook Pro, and my dad's got a 27-inch iMac, and my iMac, before the screen broke, or no, before the cable broke, everything looks very big on this display, but I've got used to it. It's actually a great display. You know, it's got touch sensitive buttons and everything. I would have gone from a 1440p monitor if it wasn't for the fact that I got this for such a steal. They retail for about 540 New Zealand dollars. I spent 390, brand new, from a place called Dragon PC, who do this stuff really cheap. Such a great shop, that Dragon PC. If you're in Christchurch, Dragon PC, everything you want, really, really cheap. We have my Logitech mouse. I used to have one of these, but I broke it at a rental house. when we had to move out from this house to get it fixed. That was an accident, and I've replaced it. I liked it so much. I don't even know what it's called. Okay, it's Logitech M325. Great internet scroll wheel, back and forward, great shape. Yes, it's a bit small, but I do like a smaller mouse. My Apple 109 key extended keyboard, seen better days. Once again, when I moved to a different house, it got bent a bit. I think you should be able to see that. It's pretty much straight until we get to about there. It's bent quite badly. Still works fine though. This is one of the best keyboards, par mechanical keyboards. I really like this keyboard. I really recommend it. The one that comes with Max, the Bluetooth wireless one, there's not enough keys on it in my opinion. Should be 109 key, that's what you want. Proper sized arrow keys as well. Up here is the centerpiece currently. Well, not the centerpiece obviously because it's off to the right, but it was the centerpiece. Well, no, not this particular one. I used to have a 2011 21.5 inch iMac, which I'll show you later, sitting right here, and it was there for 2 years. And then when I was upgrading it, I managed to break the LVDS screen cable. I'm still looking for one of those, and when I get one, I'll put my iMac back. But currently, I was watching Niall, the PowerPC Hub's live stream just before, and I told him that I got this iMac for $40 because I did. This is a $40 iMac here. It's a late 2009 21.5 inch 3.06 GHz model. It's got 8 gigs of DDR3 RAM and a GeForce 9400. As you can see, this machine has no screen. For $40, obviously there's going to be some problems with it. It was sold as no hard drive, no RAM, broken screen, dead computer, doesn't turn on at all. I've got a few things off these people before, these wholesalers that I buy this stuff off, and they don't really give a crap about the stuff when it's damaged, and they won't actually test it to see what's wrong with it. In this situation, it had a hard drive, which is that one there, and notice how it's mounted in the fan. Don't know why, it should be a 3.5 drive, but it's a 2.5, but oh well, it works. It's got 8 gigs of DDR3 RAM, which is really good for a $40 computer. It did have a screen. I took it out because I like to have the glass over the, you know, the components just to see what it's like, rather than having a broken screen there. This was a lot worse before. This is why the screen was broken. Something got dropped on it, and I don't have the screen anymore. I threw it out. But it was spectacularly shattered for an iMac like this. I fixed this with a hammer. I don't know if you can see it, but this was so badly dented. Before, this part was sticking out to about here, but now it's not too bad at all. It's got lots of connectors plugged into it, mini display port for the monitor, keyboard extension, hard drive 2TB. It's just one that I'm trying to get some data off that's failing, it's not going too well. Audio for the stereo, it doesn't look very good, it's a very cheap cable. Mouse receiver because the keyboard was acting up a few days ago because I spilled some cleaning fluid into it by accident. It's come back though, really nice. Now this iMac's quite a funny story because it shows me how little I utilise my computer. Going from my i5 iMac with 12 gig RAM, 4TB hard drive and a 6750M, I've only noticed maybe half a second delay in some of the tasks that I do for this older iMac. Half a second's probably a bit too much. It's probably about a quarter of a second delay on certain things like graphical animations aren't the smoothest. But I'm having no trouble with this iMac, and I'm tempted to just get this one fixed and maybe just keep using this one because it has all my stuff on it at the moment. And it's not a bad machine, I really do like it. Here's my chair. It's quite an expensive chair. I bought it because the ones I had before kept breaking. This has a 12-year warranty. It was about $700 this chair. I paid for $600 of it, I had to borrow some money to get the rest of it. Coming around here you may notice a lack of Macs. Don't worry, you can see a Retina MacBook Pro over there. This one I paid for, it's for my school studies. It is a late 2013 Retina 13.3 inch MacBook Pro. Get rid of that. It's just my favourites on YouTube. Amazing machine. Obviously this camera sucks, but let me focus on this menu. There we go. I don't know how well this is going to come out, but I cannot see the pixels from this close. The camera I'm pretty sure can see them, and that's annoying, but here's the specs of it. It's a 13-inch late 2013, I bought it mid-2014 just before the new ones were released, and I paid extra for the processor and RAM that I would have got if I had waited, which sucks, but such a great machine. 8 gigs of non-upgradable DDR3 RAM, that's annoying, I would much rather it be upgradable, but it's a very thin machine, so sacrifices must be made. 2.6 Core i5, it's hyper-threaded, great Core i5. It's so powerful. It munches my desktop Core i5 and my Core i5 iMac, which is crazy. It's a 4th gen Haswell CPU. Intel Iris graphics. I was skeptical when I first heard of Intel Iris graphics because I thought Intel graphics? No. But the camera seems to be lagging a bit, but in real life, this machine is one of the smoothest. When I first got it running Mavericks it wasn't, but on Yosemite it is one of the smoothest Macs I've ever used, and it can play games rather well, so Iris is really good, and Iris Pro is even better. The display is 2560 by 1600, which is great in a screen this small. It has 500 gig SSD, or 512 gig PCI Express SSD, crazy fast. Crazy fast. It's almost full as well. I don't actually use this machine for much. Let me load up a benchmark, Blackmagic. Mainly, well, I do use it for much, but I don't use it for storing files and storing my stuff, my music and all that. And it's because it's so easy to lose one of these, especially taking to school every day. I bike 40k an hour every day to school. Don't bike 40k's, I bike 40k an hour. I bike about 2 kilometers, which is nothing. But at 40k an hour, if anything happened, if I fell off, this would get munched. So I don't want to have anything important on it because I don't have a backup at the moment. Let me just run this test. You can see that it's going. This is the 1 gig stress test, I think. Yep, this is the 1 gig stress test. Let me stop that and load up the 5 gig stress test. Well, that's 700 megabytes a second, and that is bloody crazy. And here's the read. 730. Test. It is a crazy fast computer. Everything about it is instant, and I just love the design. Just the lines are perfect on it. Still like the PowerBook G4 though. Here's my current phone. This was my previous phone for 5 years, up until 10 months ago. I got this for free, and it followed me around for many years. Amazing phone, the BlackBerry 8520. It's indestructible. It's been in a deep river, lost in a deep river, came out fine, didn't even take the battery out, still works fine. It's been thrown over a 3-story building, that still works fine. It's been run over 3 times, it was in a 55k an hour bike crash with me. And the best thing about it is it's just fast. Like, everything about it feels responsive, which is crazy for a phone that's coming on 7 years old. The battery life's amazing too. I'm using this one because my Samsung 4G phone was destroyed by my sister. Sucks. She squirted it with a hose thinking it would be funny, but no, it wasn't funny, it just destroyed the phone. Right, now you may notice that I have a PC set up over here. Dual monitors, that one's 1080p LED, that one's 1080p LCD, and there's a big difference between them. That one's a hell of a lot brighter than that one. That one's a 23 inch, that's a 22 inch. That one's got a webcam on it, it's not a very good webcam. Logitech Z4 speakers I got for free. Both these monitors I got for free from helping an office upgrade to Macs. That was such fun. Not only did I help a office struggling with Windows XP PCs upgrade to Macs, I got 2 flash monitors out of it. This keyboard, wireless Logitech keyboard, I got this from the Eco Shop. That cost me $10. Wireless receiver, works fine. It's a PS2 wireless and USB. Razer Death Adder mouse, paid for this. It was about $80 Dragon PC versus $120 retail. Currently down here, there's a surge protector over there just for protecting everything. This MacBook is also docked here. It stays here most of the time. Down here we have my spare backup PC for when everything goes to crap and all my computers break. It's also for when I need a PC that's reliable, because that one's not, and I'll explain why in a second. I built this recently. It's a 4th gen Pentium. It's a G3240. It has a Gigabyte motherboard in it. I don't actually know what it is. I was supposed to buy a cheap one, but I ended up buying a relatively expensive one. If I can pop the slide off, there we go. It's got Crossfire, dual channel RAM, supports 5th gen, but it's got a 4th gen Pentium in it. It's got HDMI on the back, DVI, VGA, it's got 8 channel audio, gigabit LAN, SATA 3, it's got 6 SATA 3 ports. Yeah, I'll check the back of it. It's got USB 3 on the back. It's got Ethernet. Yeah, it's a really good machine. It's faster than I expected for a Pentium. Silverstone fan at the front. I don't know why that's there. I usually have them at the back for exhaust. My friend decided this computer needed an intake fan. I think it's because of the power supply. This power supply I also got from the Eco Shop. Someone threw this out, working perfectly, and I paid $20 for it, and it's been working for like a year with no problems. It's a 450 watt Enermax Naxon power supply. Very good power supply. This currently has 2 gigs of RAM because I'm stealing some RAM for a computer downstairs. And it's in a Cooler Master case. I don't actually know what model it is, but it's one of the better Cooler Master cases. It's not flimsy and it looks quite nice. It's got some, don't know if you can see it, but fake brushed metal down here on both sides. Let me power her up. And it's got a 1TB black hard drive that I also got for free from the office that I helped upgrade. That was really good. I got so much free stuff. It was almost instant, didn't even show the Windows 8 loading bar. Some people will not like me for using Windows 8. Let me turn this monitor on. This monitor's a TV as well, there we go. This one's only DVI. This one's HDMI, but this one's not as good a monitor as that. There we go. There's the difference between them. See what I mean? That does get a lot brighter as it goes on. In fact, it's pretty ridiculous how dim it is at the moment. I don't think... Okay, that shouldn't be that dim. Maybe there's a problem with this monitor. Maybe something's dying inside it. Maybe the backlight CCFLs are dying. Oh well, I'll have to have a look into that later. But that computer's really good, really reliable. Pentium G3240 is so fast. It's crazy fast. It's really good. Here's my gaming PC that I built. This gaming PC is sort of, it's a mismatch of parts really. The case was from Dragon PC. I paid $40 for it. It was all original, brand new, minus its side panels because they'd given them away by accident to a person who hadn't got, there's a person had taken their computer in with it to get it fixed, and they didn't have side panels on it, and Dragon PC didn't realise and thought they'd lost the side panels, so they had to open up one of their new cases, give the side panels away, and then they realised, oh wait, it didn't come in with side panels. So it was a bit of a fail for them, but it was a bit of a win for me because I ended up paying $40 for a $90 case. It's not the best case, but the looks aren't the best. It's got a green LED fan there. It's a bit tacky, but it works quite well. It's got very good airflow as well, and it's quite quiet for the hardware inside of it. And then pop the side off. Here's another good feature about it. It has, on these side panels, it has little handles that you can flip up. Quite useful for taking it apart. Right, for a computer that doesn't do anything half the time and sits on the floor most of the time, it's ridiculously OP. It has an FX8350, 8-core. It's 4 GHz stock clock. I haven't overclocked it because of the cooler on it. The FX8350 was a birthday present to replace my Phenom 2X4 B55 that's currently downstairs. The B55 is because it was a dual core and I unlocked it, to be a quad core. That was, it's really fast, but this is faster. It's got some RAM from a computer that I had downstairs that died. It had a failure of something which caused the motherboard and CPU to die. It was mainly the CPU because I got the motherboard working again. This is the motherboard from it. Well, the parts that I've got from this computer that broke were that fan, this power supply, this graphics card, and the motherboard and the RAM. The DVD burner is from a different computer. It's not even plugged in. That's how much I care about DVD drives. The hard drive, that was new to this machine. I actually bought this for this machine. It's a 2000 gig SSHD. That was 2 TB. It's so fast. I really recommend these SSHDs. They're not gimmicks. They work really well. This has got 6 SATA 3. It's got support for Crossfire, not SLI. It's a 140mm Corsair fan up there, taking air out. Also, it's an exhaust fan. That's the stock Raidmax 120, which is also an exhaust fan. It's got a Raidmax 120 LED intake fan, which isn't the best, but it looks okay. You know, it's a bit tacky. The deep cool thing is designed for 95 watt processors, and this is a 135 watt processor, so it's not the best idea. But it works quite well actually. You end up with sort of hovering in the 50s to 55 degree temperatures under load, and then sort of 40 to 45 not under load, and it's pretty good. I've got some Arctic Silver 5 thermal paste under there, that's probably helping it. The meat of this computer is certainly the graphics card, which is from the computer that died. Got this for free as well. It is a GTX 760 GB One Force edition, 2 gig. It's very long. It's very powerful. Neither of the DVI ports work, don't know why, but those work, HDMI and DisplayPort, and that's all you need. The motherboard in here is it's a gigabyte motherboard. It's AM3 Plus. I don't actually know the model number. There we go, there's the model number, 970AD3P. It's more of a mid-end motherboard. It's not bad, but it's not great. I'll explain why in a second. This motherboard has some odd features. For example, it has a plethora of USB ports in the back. It has 10 USB ports, yet only 2 of them are USB 3. I find that odd, as this is, what is the point of having 8 USB 2 and 2 USB 3? To put that into perspective, the Pentium computer down here, which the motherboard is also a gigabyte motherboard, and it also costs a similar amount of money. This is a little micro ATX board. That's a full ATX board as well. This has 6 USB ports and 4 of them are USB 3. You can see those 4 are USB 3 and those 2 there are USB 2. The only thing I can think of is chipset limitations, but I don't know the chipset limitations for the chipset on that. I'm pretty sure it's 970. It's a 970 chipset, so I'll have to have a look on the internet and see if it's chipset limitations causing that, but it's a stupid decision, whatever it is. And the external water cooling thing's fallen off. I hate these things. They're cool, but they're stupid as well, because I've never ever seen anyone use external water cooling. Obviously some people have, but it's not too common. Right, well the problems that this computer has, that I was mentioning before, it shuts off by itself. It has lots of blue screen of death. Whenever you plug anything into the front USB 3 port, it always blue screens of death, unless it's something that doesn't require drivers. So, like a fan light, for example. But anything that requires drivers, so USB stick, a mouse, a keyboard, that instantly crashes the computer. I'm just going to probably reinstall Windows. The other problem it has is that sometimes when I leave it on, I'll wake up and it's turned itself on, and it's boiling hot up here, right under this fan, and it's also boiling hot on this, and I don't know what it is, but it ends up being so hot that you can't touch it. The fans are on max. It's a bit worrying, so I don't use it too much. It could be to do with the graphics card, because it was pulled from a system that had a failure, or it could be to do with the power supply, but the power supply is really high quality and it's still under warranty, so if it's the power supply, I better get a replacement. Very good power supply. It's totally silent. In fact, it worries me a bit because the fan, I've not once seen the fan turn on. Haven't checked it in this computer, however. In the old computer that was in, which was a bit nowhere near as power hungry as this, never saw the fan turn on, so could be the fan's broken or something. But yeah, this isn't really reliable, so I don't want to, so that's why I have a Pentium computer, because instead of fixing this one, I decided that I'm just going to build an Intel computer that's going to be reliable, and it's going to stay working, because I have lots of AMD's computers that do that, but none of them are modern enough. Like, I'm doing a school project currently that requires Notepad++, can't use that on my Macs. That one's got Windows 10 Preview on it, and it's not very stable. That doesn't have any sort of Windows on it at all. This is screwing up, and that one works fine, so I'll be using that one, because I have a lack of Windows PCs. I used to have, maybe a month ago, I had about 3 more Ready Flash ones, but I ended up giving them away to friends because they didn't have computers that were that flash, or, I have a friend who was using a 2010 MacBook Pro as his main only computer that he used for gaming, with a Core 2 Duo 2.4, so not too terrible, but then a GeForce 320M. The 320M is an okay chip, in my opinion, for a MacBook Air, a really good chip for a MacBook Air, but in a Pro, where there's enough cooling and there is enough physical space for a better chip, I think it should be a better chip. But then I say that, and then in my cupboard I've got a 15-inch MacBook Pro with a 330M, which is the higher end one, that's dead. So with Apple, it's luck of the draw, in my opinion. From what I've seen lately, either you have a crappy graphics card or you have one that fails pretty quickly. So hopefully Apple get their shit sorted out about that, because I'm sick of it. It's not just now, it's been happening all throughout the ages. And it's not just Apple either, it's lots of computer manufacturers. But you should be able to make a graphics chip that stays on. I can just think of the Xbox 360, the PS3, the MacBook Pros with 8600Ms, the 330Ms, the Retina MacBook Pros with 650Ms, the MacBook Pros with 6750Ms, anything that had an 8000 series mobile card, anything that had a 3 series mobile card, they all failed. So, it's a problem with the computer world. We should start a petition. Me and my 70-odd subscribers, that would be cool. Starting a petition. Almost forgot to show you this. Bookshelf, Steve Jobs, the videography. I don't know what that is. Well, it's a picture of something that I drew. I know what it is. It's a car, but it's not a car. It's terrible, many years ago. Hello, insect, why are you in here? Shoo. Lots of insects come in at this time of the year in New Zealand. Not a great day though. This is where I keep all my tools. Lots of tools. Screws. This is a very crappy bookshelf. Apple Care, which shit. I forgot about this. I need to load this on that. I've had that for about 5 months and I still haven't loaded it on. I tried once and it failed, so I'm going to try again. Some other stuff, and there's some paper in there. Not much. Subaru rally car. It's a remote control car, one of the coolest ones I've ever seen. Headlights, indicators, really fast. This wheel broke off though when my knee failed when I was standing up. My knee basically failed and I just fell over and sat on it. It's terrible, really annoying. I'm going to try and fix it with some plastic glue though. Hopefully it'll work. Here is just a vintage computer that I have sitting out because it's so cool. Paid $10 for this off Trade Me. It's a 1992, or it's 1992 to 1994. Compaq LTE Elite 4-75X. I'm just going to check this on the bed as well so I can get a better view of it. This thing has a 320 meg hard drive. It's running Windows 3.1. It has a broken mouse ball, well, trackball on the screen. It's such a cool design. These are the buttons and the trackball's on the other side. The second I saw this on Trade Me, I thought, sweet, that tells me that it's a Compaq, obviously, so it was decent at its time. And it's going to be a 486 due to the 4, and it's going to be 75 megahertz. Such a cool machine. I've taken this to school a few times, and every time everyone doesn't realise how old it is because it doesn't look too old like that. Then they'll realise when they come around to the other side. It's got doors all over it with many ports. That will be a docking port, that one. It's got serial, dock, I was going to say S-Video, but it's PS2, parallel, and VGA on the back of it. It's got an inbuilt power supply, so no need for an external charger. Little tiny fan there. This is for the PCM CIA cards. That's for a number pad. Let me focus the camera. I have to stop recording every time we go. It's for PCM CIA. They work. There's the hard drive release. It's Kensington. Well, it's not. I don't know if it's a Kensington lock, but it's a lock of some description. 320 meg hard drive in there. Yep, a little cage. Floppy drive. It's temperamental. It works some of the time, but some of the time it doesn't. The battery in there is totally dead. Let me just pop it out. Oh, I've done it wrong. No, I haven't. It worked. Slides out. Compaq battery doesn't work at all. Totally dead. Not surprised though. It's 22 years old. 20 or 22 years old. Nothing on this side. Let me just open it up. It's a bit hard because there's two latches. Let me just put the camera down for a second. There we go. Hinges on this are really weak. I'm going to try and fix them, so I have to be careful with it. This is it here. Look at this thing. Isn't that cool? It's quite a cool machine. Everyone always compliments me on it. They say it's such a cool machine. And it works perfectly minus its trackball. You have to plug a PS2 mouse in. The keyboard, amazing. It's got a. This one is quite cool. I would have guessed it had an a passive matrix screen when I first saw it, but no, it has a colour active matrix screen in 1992. It's either 800 by 600 or 640 by 480. The resolutions differ in different parts of the operating system, so I can't tell for sure. But the pixels are so obvious I could probably count them. That's what I might do actually. Brightness slider. This is the highest end model. They did have one with a passive matrix screen colour, and then they had one with just a black and white screen. Passive matrix black and white screen. Trackball doesn't work. It goes up and down, but not left and right. I've tried cleaning it. It's got something up with it. I think I might need to replace the ball because it's quite worn out. It looks like someone's tried to sand it to make it work. Probably didn't help. Yeah, well, that's that machine. Let's look at these cupboards because there are quite cool things in there. Right, just for speed, I'm going to start down here. This cupboard contains quite a few things. Oh, that iMac over there came with the box, and it's just there. It's quite cool that a $40 iMac would come with a box. Annoyingly, I did pay $45 shipping for it, which bumped the price up a bit, but still, it's worth it for an iMac like that. That works fine as well. It's given me no problems, and it's silent, and it's awesome. It was covered in mould and filled with nicotine and dirt. It took a while to clean out, but as I said, for $40 for the iMac, it was bloody good. In this box is my i5 iMac 12 gig RAM, 4TB hard drive, 6750M, 2.5 GHz quad core i5 2400S. I think it's got like 6 megs of cache. No, I can't even see that. Yeah, it's 6 megs of cache. I've been inside this quite a few times, and the most recent time was to change the thermal paste, and I managed to break the LVDS connector, which means, well, not the connector, the cable, which means I need to get the cable. Apart from that, it works fine. If you're wondering why I'm not using it up there, it was giving me a lot. It was giving me hell, and I figured out what it was. It was my Maverick's USB was corrupt, and it wasn't working on anything. And I spent about a week constantly trying to figure out what was wrong with this machine to let it not install the OS, and it turned out just to be my USB. And I found that out when I tried to install Mavericks on that, which was running Yosemite Beta for about half a year, and then it did fail with the same error. And I thought, that's odd. So yeah, I don't want to put that back up there until I've got a screen, because that machine's working fine for me. It's not actually that much faster, this one, so yeah, I'm just going to go with that. And there's a bunch of computers, iBook G3s, I think there's a few PowerBooks in there as well. Most of them are in there for a reason. They're junk, but some of them in there aren't junk. It's 3 PowerMac G5s. One of them's a dual core 2.5. I think it's that one. That one's a 2 GHz dual processor, and it's got a dead power supply. That one needs reseating, but I don't have a screwdriver long enough to reseat it, so that sucks. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to do that. Corsair 70D case, great case. The one I had was a bit screwed up. It was missing lots of its screws on the inside of the front panel, which was making it very loose and feel crappy, but after getting the screws and tightening it up, it worked fine. Great case. I'd recommend it, but don't buy them for cheap. They retail for about 400 New Zealand. I paid about 210, supposedly brand new, but it really wasn't. The case itself was perfect, pristine, but it was missing, missing screws and flaps and bits on the inside. But I contacted Corsair, and nicely enough, they sent me out brand new parts for it for free. Even though technically I didn't pay for it, because it was paid to this Trade Me guy. One of the only times I've ever been ripped off on Trade Me. That's the Raymax Cobra's case, which is that case there. Oh, sorry, box. That's got some stuff in it, but it's not really important. And here is a mess of schoolwork, blocks from Corsair, old modems, a 17-inch monitor that I keep because it's never let me down. It's a really good monitor. And there's a Windows Me PC. It was my first PC ever. I'm going to get that out one day. It's funny. It's called the Essential New Zealand series. It doesn't even have Ethernet. It's from about 2003, and it's running Windows Me. Stupid. Over here, bunch of keyboards. 2 computers. That one's an AMD. It's got a gaming motherboard on it, a Sapphire gaming motherboard. A cool case that's a bit banged up. I might try and fix one day. Sorry about that. It's AMD Athlon 64X2. Pretty decent. Got that for free as well. That's a Raymax Raptor case. It's a cool case, that one. It's got a couple of scratches on that side. That was my fault. Currently, that's rocking a Pentium 2 based gaming system. Very cool machine. Everyone expects it to be some Corti Duo or Corti Quad system because of the age of the case, but it's not. It's Pentium 2. 350 with MMX. Here is quite a cool CRT monitor. If the CRT man ever ends up watching this, he might find this cool. This is a 1994 compact SVGA 800x600 colour monitor that I paid $7 for a few years ago. Works fine. It wasn't a few years ago, it was many years ago. Works fine, always has, and it's 20 years old. It's really cool. I keep it because of its age and because it actually still looks pretty decent. Down here's the Sage iMac G3. Still has the dead CRT, or the faulty CRT, but it still works pretty well. An eMac that I got for free, gigahertz, gigaram, DDR. That one just sits there because it's very loud, so I need to replace the fan. That was my home theatre PC, home theatre Mac, at my rental house, or the rental house I was staying at when this house was being fixed. It's a 400MHz PowerMac G4. It's a bit more modern than the original 400s. I'm pretty sure it's digital audio. It's either a digital audio or a gigabit Ethernet. I had to have a look. But it has the white power light, which shows it's a bit of a later model. And it has the white back. I don't know if you can see that, but the back of the ports are white. I have to have a look. I have to have a look at the serial number and check what it is. A couple more keyboards up here, an ADB keyboard under there, some G5 processors, a logic board from a G5. I think they all work. I don't actually know for sure though. The power supply was dead, but apart from that, I think the G5 should work. Up to these top cupboards here. Ruby iMac, my first proper computer, apart from the Blueberry iMac, the 350 Blueberry that I had that died about a week after I got it. Still works fine. The speakers are starting to go on it. It's Indigo iMac, speakers are gone on it, annoyingly. This is a Emax 700MHz with a tilt and swivel stand. I don't know if you can see that, but it's got the tilt and swivel stand under there. Such a cool tilt and swivel stand. And the Chrome speakers, Harman Kardon's, they're amazing. I still use it for YouTube watching. It sits downstairs sometimes and is used for YouTube watching, which is quite cool for such an old machine. Got that for free as well. And here's some junk. I've got a Dell CRT. It's a great CRT, but once again, it's a Dell CRT. It's one of the best CRTs I've ever seen, and I use it with that because that does not look right on modern LCD monitors. It can't put out the proper resolution because that's 1024 by 768 or 1280 by 800. That can do it fine, so I keep that for that. That's a 300 MHz PowerMac G3 blue and white. That, I don't know what that is. I think it's a Pentium 4 3 GHz system. And there is a free computer that I got. It's got a big dent in it. 160 gig hard drive, 2.53 Core 2, which I put in there. It used to have a 1.86 Core 2, and 8 gigs of RAM. That's what it's got. It's pretty awesome. For free. It's got a 610 in there as well, I think. And here, this is the final part for you in the video. This is my collection of boxes. 750 watt power supply, Razer Taipan for downstairs, Razer Death Adder for upstairs, AMD FX 8350, AMD FX 4130, Corsair H90 water cooler and downstairs, 210, piece of crap, 610, still a piece of crap, 650 Ti, really good, 760, awesome, minus the DVI ports, AirPod Extreme 6th Gen I think, AirPod Extreme 5th Gen I think, don't quote me on that, I'm not 100% sure. Old motherboard that I don't have, it's just I've got the box of it, it's got some cards in it. Retina MacBook Pro box, that 60 watt MagSafe power adapter for my recent additions, which are all these things. Pentium adapter, some SSD boxes, a phone box, that motherboard for the AMD gaming PC, the motherboard for the Pentium PC, it's a really nice motherboard. TP-Link router, motherboard for the downstairs PC, the hard drive that I bought 4 years ago now, it still sort of works, it's in a different case now. Some Core 2 Duo HPs, one's dead, one works, and the one that works has got Android. Some shitty computers, a titanium PowerBook G4, very sad condition. I think that one doesn't work. An old Toshiba laptop, some more titaniums down there. One of them at least works but has a few lines on the screen. Another old thing. What's this? I'm constantly finding these. This will be from an office. This is an AMD Athlon X2. Yeah, AMD Athlon X2, 240, 2.8 GHz, SATA 2, DDR3. Not a bad motherboard, but I don't have any use for it. Might give it away to someone. My 12-inch G4 sitting down there all sad, in pretty nice condition. There's about 4 MacBook Pros there. That's 2010 minus its screen, 15-inch one i5. It's dead. Logic wall failure. Paid $200 for it. Such a rip-off. They said it was working fine, but it really wasn't. That one's an 8600 MGT. It'll also be dead. That's part of a Toshiba laptop. That's a top case. That's another one. One of these 8600M MacBooks works. It's downstairs. I've got 2 more MacBook Pros and a PowerBook G4 downstairs. That one works. It's a headless. Right, well I got cut off there. Stupid camera. It's got a 9-minute 41 limit for some odd reason. It's a 2 gig recording limit, and at 720p, even though this is terrible 720p, it's not too good. So let's give you another quick overview. Snow iMac, Flower Power iMac, bunch of junk, Dell Pentium 4. Yeah, printer. If you wanted me to do any videos on those two, I did just spout off about them for about 3 minutes, but I got cut off. Just leave some in the comments because I do like those machines and they both do work fine. Right, well, that's my room now. That's what it's like. See you later.